Thanks very much, Sam. I'm just trying to get myself lined up so at least our audience online can see me and I can engage directly face to face with the audience in the room. So I'll be sort of just I think right. So I think it's now 3 after 3 Dubai time and after a nice lunch and a good break. I think there's still a bit perhaps a bit fatigued with a long day of 60 hours and so on. So I will try to make my presentation as quickly as possible, but also keep it interesting and relevant for this event. So if you have any questions while I'm talking, it's okay. Please interrupt me, and we can make it a bit more interactive. So my name is Owen Fraser. As Sam said, I am the president of the AOAC Sub-Saharan Africa section. I'm the founder president of this section, and which we established in 2018. But I will tell you a little bit more of that story. I'm a food safety and quality professional. I'm a scientist. Work in a number of areas. All right, a bit more. Okay. All right. All right. When I'm going down, please someone just give me a Sam, just give me a hand, and I will make sure I keep it up. So thanks very much to Sam and the organizers of this very important meeting. Gives me the opportunity to share with you both in this room and online, what we have been doing with the AOAC Sub-Saharan Africa section. A little bit of the story behind it, and how we're using this platform to bring value to the community we're serving in Sub-Saharan Africa. So, hope this is working. I need to point it here, or where? Is it this one? Nice. Okay. So over the next maybe 25 minutes, I will just tell you a bit about why engage the AOAC. I will introduce give you a bit of introduction to the AOAC Sub-Saharan Africa section. I will talk a little bit about the relevance of this section for our community, and this is the AOAC. Sorry, yeah, no, a bit too fast there. All right. A relevance of what we do within the region. I will just give you some examples of how we're delivering value to our community and give a little hint of what we're seeing as the future of this organization. So I'm just pressing the wrong buttons now, going backward and forward. So, okay, so there you go. Right, so why the AOAC? Testing provides that link between compliance, regulatory regulations and standards, and compliance. And we know that when this works well, it ensures that our customers, the consumers of food and other products, are getting what they're paying for. It's safe, and sorry, this is not supposed to happen like this. It's I think I'm accidentally touching something here. But when this goes wrong, when testing is not done correctly or reliably, this results in a whole lot of other problems. And I think one such example is in, I think it was 2015, 2016, with the lead in noodles crisis in India, where one party tested, they found lead, but when this was independently verified, there was no lead. And so that is a very good example of when testing the standards of testing are varied between different organizations. So why the AOAC? The AOAC provides a well-proven platform of developing fit-for-purpose methods to inform on conformity assessment, and it provides a platform where we within the region, can leverage our collective expertise. Of course, leverage the collective expertise of AOAC International to really drive improvement in testing and testing standards within the Sub-Saharan Africa region. So we met in 2017. I initially engaged because I was working in Africa, and I was based in Côte d'Ivoire at that time. And we engaged a number of interested parties around the continent. And we came up, we asked, what would you like? We'd like to propose establishing a network of scientists, like-minded professionals, regulators, to be able to, to respond to the needs we see in the region and to leverage our collective knowledge and experience. And to ask, what would you like AOAC to be to you as within your organization as well as individuals? And this was what we came up with. So the AOAC was this is our the vision of the organization, which came to be, and I will talk a bit more about that. Is to be sorry, this is not working out very well. So to be a leading regional scientific professional association, building confidence in analytical results. The section is dedicated to promoting and advancing knowledge and best practices in the analytical sciences within the region. This is absolutely important for us to ensure trade and for public health protection. So the section aims to achieve its goals by through collaborations, training, capacity building, analytical method harmonization and alignment, as well as extension of the scope of analytical methods to include local indigenous foods, which there aren't any validated methods existing in the database, of course, but are consumed quite extensively throughout the continent and are likely to be traded outside the continent in the future, and also to serve as an independent, impartial scientific advisory body to the various agencies within the continent. So just a little bit about our history. We had this first consultation in Johannesburg, South Africa in 2017, where we had about 15 persons. There were some persons there who were really not directly involved in the discussion. We came together and we discussed, this is really jumping ahead of me now. So we came together, we discussed the, what we would like this organization to be, how we would like to structure this organization, who were interested in being part of this, because it's a voluntary organization, and to make that commitment to take that forward. Once we did that, we incorporated the section. It's registered as a non-profit professional association. It's registered in South Africa, and sorry, I'm really having a hard time with this. I will just put it here and I'll touch it when I need it. Yeah, so in 2018, we received the chartership from the AOAC International, and then 2018 we also had an inaugural meeting in Pretoria in South Africa. This was quite a successful meeting. We followed in Cape Town the following year in 2019, and 2020 COVID eliminated all possibility of getting together. So during that year, we did lots of activities, engaging our members, seminars and webinars and so on, quite a lot of training. And then in 2021, sorry, just a couple of weeks ago, we had our third annual meeting, which was a hybrid event. It was mainly virtual, but we had a meeting of our key stakeholders and partners, where we had what we call a strategic networking sessions, where we looked at where we were and how we can maintain our relevance as an organization. So I will just talk to you a little bit about, I'll give you a little taste of our membership. So geographically, we're Sub-Saharan Africa, and of course, there is when we talk about Africa, we're talking about all of that. And there isn't, in the terms of our key partners in the region, the African Union doesn't see Africa as Africa, Sub-Saharan, and other parts of Africa. And so I think what will happen going forward, and we're very happy that we now have the Arab section that is going to form, is that we are really looking to be a key partner within the context of AOAC, and of course, working a lot together. And we discussed that in SAM, and of course, this is something we look forward to. So we have about, we cover about 49 countries. We have about almost 400 members. This has grown quite rapidly. I think it's probably because, of course, we're relevant, but we were also free to be a member. In the beginning, we're changing that now. But in terms of what the membership consists of in terms of organizations represented, we have about 37% government, 15% academia. We have industry partners who makes about 26%, and contract research labs that are 15%, 4% of technology providers, and about 3% of others. These others are organizations such as ARSO, which is African Standardization Organization. We have Land O'Lakes. We have the African Union Department for Rural Economies and Agriculture. We have members there who are also part of that team. So we're engaging quite widely in the continent. How do we ensure relevance for what we do as a section within the region? So the first thing we do, and the first thing we did, and we continue to do every few years, every couple of years, is to send out surveys. Not sure why it's changing, but it wasn't meant to be like that. We send out surveys to engage our membership to find out what it is that, what are the, I think, sorry, I think
it's time, it's already time. So
all right.
Change is on its own.
All right, so I think this is disrupting things a bit.
Yeah.
Maybe we can, if we can allow me to change it, then I could make sure that what is on there is what is, yeah. So it was made that way.
It was made that way.
Right. So I need to speed up. Right. Okay, so I think that's going to be difficult, but try. So we try to get the voice of the customer, the voice of our members, the voice of the stakeholders engaged, and this tells us what they see as the role of the AOAC within the region, and how that is going to. Sorry. Right.
We're gonna disable.
Okay, please do that. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, and how that really should inform what we do. It's a voluntary professional association. We need to make sure that what we're doing is relevant to the needs of our community. Of course, we have AOAC International, they have their goals and so on, their objectives, but we need to make sure that the organization is serving those the community that we are part of. And so we collect that information. And when the PowerPoint comes back up, you will see the three primary areas where our members, our community, feel that we can serve, and that makes up our priority. And that has not changed since the initiation in 2017, 2018, and it continues to be capacity building and training, analytical method harmonization and alignment, and thirdly, laboratory standards and performance. Within laboratory standards performance, safety in laboratory is also part of that. So we look at performance in a more holistic manner. We don't look at just the performance in p-tests. We look at that much more holistically to include other aspects of laboratory performance. I think I'm ahead of the presentation now, because so Right, good. Can I control? Okay. So it doesn't like when I control it now. Okay. So these are, yeah. So alignment, and the fourth one is actually partnership, to promote partnerships in the region. So how do we deliver this value to our community? So examples of these are what we implemented quite recently over the last, let's say, the last year. We put in place a program to assess, to benchmark the performance of laboratories based on what the regulations require, rather than it's not a p-test. So we provide laboratories with the standard performance criteria, which is based on what the regulatory requirements are. And then we provide reference materials for them to analyze and return that result. And that result is actually compared to the standardized performance requirements with a certain level of mental uncertainty, and we just compare what those are, fundamentally different from the proficiency and others. The purpose of that really is to understand where labs are with regards to what they're expected well, how their methods are expected to be performed related to the regulatory requirements and where they are. And the aim of that is to identify labs where the performance is not within that uncertainty, and to work with them to identify the root causes of poor performance. And with that, we then have what we call a laboratory mentorship program. And of course, this is part of our capacity building activities, where we work with them to identify root cause of poor performance, and then work with them, coach these labs to be able to improve their performance. And then we have this is cyclic. We then do the same again, and this helps to raise that level. Now, it is the community who decides what are their priorities. In some areas, it may be the nutritional components, vitamin A, iron, zinc, because food products are being fortified in their region, and they would like to be able to accurately quantify that because it's a regulatory requirement. It could be a food safety issue, so the mycotoxins, aflatoxins in some places, depending on the commodities, deal with ochratoxin and fominicins, perhaps in others as well. And so we are working with this, and we've had the first report from this laboratory benchmarking scheme, and the results are very. We actually found that around 50% of labs are very precise in their results, but are terribly inaccurate. And so our next step is really working with those labs to find out where they are. So this is actually quite worrying, because it means that half of the results produced by these labs, and these labs, there are about 37 labs coming from 8 countries in the continent, who are producing results on which decisions are made that are not reliable. I'm not sure if this work is being done in other parts of the world, but it'd be very interesting to see how lab results are comparing with what they're expected to be, the performance they're expected to be with relation to that. So we also run capacity building activities, and we have a very focused activity on young scientists development, because this is obviously for the future of our organization, but for the profession within the region. Collaboration, so we work on building collaborations. You probably heard earlier, the collaboration with AOAC International and the African Standardization Organization, really key to us. We built this collaboration and made it AOAC International Collaboration. And with Land O'Lakes quite recently, where we're working on developing these different lab capacity. Other benefits that we bring to our members is, through negotiating with AOAC International to have dual membership, where a member of the AOAC Sub-Saharan section can have a lower cost to be a member of International, as well as the section, and have access to the official methods and other content, and access to the international network as well. So we have initiated a few other programs to be able to support financially these initiatives. It's important for us to be relevant, remain relevant to our members, and bring value that they can feel. I mean, they're spending $20 for membership. It's important for us to make sure that that we're getting value. This is an example. Metal alignment activity is an example of one of the programs that we run. I will not go into it, but basically this is promoting sharing of methods. So labs volunteer to share the method they're using. We use our collective expertise to assess the relevance of the importance of those, the fit for purposeness of those methods. And then we together, once we identify any gaps within that, then we work on ways of either demonstrating it, if it's a gap that perhaps it's not so clear. There's an example I will show you after, but we work on ways in which we can improve this and close those gaps. We facilitate this method and sharing through the development of a digital laboratory method sharing platform. And we provide some additional materials on that platform, a repository of what the official methods to be used, not only AOAC method, but all other international official methods that are suitable for those matrices. Another example of how we really bring in value is through this activity, which we did in 2019, where we, in South Africa, there is a regulation on sodium and salt in food. And the regulation is very specific in terms of what is recommended for analytical methods to be used to verify conformity to the regulation, compliance to the regulation. So we did this work together with the National Institute of Metrology South Africa, with some industry partners independently, and we were able to produce a white paper which informed all the methods that were fit for purpose for that regulation. And it was very interesting because a lot of labs, government labs, were using the argentometric titration method, which quantifies chlorides. But the regulation specifically spoke about quantification of sodium. And so, while in some cases, the argentometric titration will quantify sodium accurately, where industry is modifying the recipes and using non-sodium chlorides to compensate so that the foods taste well, for example, potassium chloride. When you use the argentometric titration, you will overestimate. And so for companies who are spending a lot of money in modifying the recipes, they lose their competitive advantage because the method that the regulators, the food control bodies are using are not necessarily fit for purpose, and so on and so forth. So there are a number of interesting things there that came out of this, which we informed. So this is another way in which we are really bringing value to our membership. Collaborations. We work with ARSO, and the aim of this is really to facilitate the adoption and development of testing methods, testing standards for Africa that are relevant for Africa. If you look for a method for quantifying mycotoxin cassava, I think you will find a big challenge. The international official methods that are there, even the AOAC methods, does not lend itself very well for quantification of mycotoxin cassava in this case. And so we are working with ARSO to really extend the scope of existing analytical methods to be able to accurately quantify. And we're working here with also Land O'Lakes Venture 37. You would have heard that we had established collaboration. This came out through our engagement with Land O'Lakes in East Africa. And we're working with them to improve the testing in laboratories that are key to those countries' economic development, trade and economic development. So what does the future look like for us? Well, we will try to continue to be relevant to our community. We will, to deliver value for the community, to grow our membership, and to expand the capacity building programs and partnerships that are supporting these programs. We're also aiming to restructure the organization to ensure sustainability and relevance. A part of that is also engaging more directly and partnering with other sections, such as the Arab section. We have the India section, which is also very strong, and we're looking to do these partnerships. In closing, I would like to thank all of our partners and membership that has been extremely important in us being able to build this organization, to support the activities that we perform, and which are very important, who are very important in continuing to grow this organization. I'd like to mention a few, but this, of course, by no means all. We have H. Ludi, who is a lab infrastructure design and manufacturer. We have Microsoft Waters, very important partners for us in the region. We have Perkin-Elmer, who's supporting a lot of our young scientist development programs, dedicated support there. We have Trilogy, our biofarm. I do apologize. I somehow miss. When I think of Trilogy, I think of our biofarm, and I missed that one completely. But Trilogy, our biofarm, has been a very, very important partner for our section. And just to mention, the Shimatsu and a few others who are extremely important, as of course our members. So with this, I'd like to say thanks very much for this opportunity. And any question, I hope easy ones. And I hope I've kept you from falling asleep. So thanks very much.